Can you say something racist, but not be racist yourself?
Well, if you say racist things and don't apologise for them, that would make you a racist. But I think if you say something racist and then apologise, that's a different thing, I think.
Why?
You can't see into someone's heart. You can't measure how deep their faith runs or how deep their hatred goes. All you can do is watch what they say and what they do. So when a man looks at a black member of parliament on his television screen and says the sight of her makes him want all black women shot, that's not a gray area. That's racism. Plain and simple. Which brings up the obvious question. If the words came from him, doesn't the racism come from him too? Or are we supposed to believe they just appeared out of thin air, passed through him, and left absolutely no trace? Today, a government minister tried to argue exactly that. The comment was racist, but the man who said it? Not racist. Because he apologized. Stick with me here, because by the end of this, you're going to be asked to believe that same logic applies to a prime minister too.
Earlier in the show, I was joined by the Minister for Postal Affairs, Kevin Hollerake. During our interview, we spoke at length about the way the government had handled the racism row. My first question was about whether the Conservative Party would be wise to take another 10 million quid in donations from Frank Hester.
Well, I don't think, from what I understand, I've never met Mr. Hester. He's apologised for what he said. Clearly, to judge somebody's character by their skin colour is completely the wrong thing to do. That's why he's apologised. So I think, people make mistakes in life, and he's apologised for them. Now, whether the party wants to take another donation from Mr. Hester, clearly donations are important for all political parties. I think one of the things you would judge when anybody's making a donation, is this person the right kind of person to be making a donation? Is somebody racist?
And the answer is?
As far as I know Mr. Hester, I don't know him. From what he said, he accepts his comments were wrong and they were racist, and he's apologised for them. So I don't think that means Mr. Hester is a racist, but that's a judgment others will make if somebody wants to make a donation.
He can say racist things, but he himself is not racist.
Well, if you say racist things and don't apologise for them, that would make you a racist. But I think if you say something racist and then apologise, that's a different thing, I think.
Why? Why would, on the evidence of our own eyes, I don't know him either, you don't know him, he said something racist here, which he has apologised for, but he is apparently not a racist person.
Well, I know of people, we all come across people at times that say racist things, but are not racist. And I think that's, I say he said something that was wrong, he said something that was inappropriate, he said it in a completely different context, but I think the way he said that does connect somebody's skin colour with their character, which is the wrong thing to do, and that's why he's apologised.
Why did it take Downing Street so long to call this what it is, which is racist?
I have no idea about Downing Street's movements yesterday, Prime Minister's movements. I have no idea about that at all. But
I can tell you that it took 24 hours for Downing Street to confirm that, yes, they thought that these were racist too, having not said that they were for many, many hours. What does that say about the Prime Minister's judgment on these matters?
What you can't tell me is what the Prime Minister was doing yesterday. I don't know his movements no more than you do, but Downing Street's been very clear. These comments were wrong, they were racist, and the apology's been made.
But they weren't clear for hours and hours out. I take the Prime Minister might not be engaged in being asked about every single question under the sun. That's why there's a whole operation around the Prime Minister to answer these questions for him. This is the second time in recent weeks that Downing Street have not apparently been able to say what everyone else can see with their own eyes, whether it's the Islamophobia and racism of Lee Anderson or indeed the racism here. Why is that?
I say I don't know the Prime Minister's movement yesterday, neither do you. Downing Street's been very clear that these comments were wrong and racist. I mean, one thing you should recognise is we have the most diverse cabinet in history. We have a British Asian Prime Minister. We're very proud of our record on diversity. That's how people should judge us, not what the Prime Minister's movements were yesterday.
It's not his movements, Minister. I'll say it again. It's not the Prime Minister's movements that matter here. It's what Number 10, the official spokesman, said repeatedly under questioning from journalists yesterday, which wasn't using the word racism. That might speak to Number 10's judgment of these matters. Do you think this man is the right character to have an OBE still?
As I say, as far as I don't know Mr. Hester, he's apologised for what he said. His comments were wrong. Those comments were racist in the context he said them. So he's apologised for them. That's what we should judge people by. If you make a mistake, do you apologise for it? That's clearly what he has done.
Minister for Postal Affairs, Kevin Hollinrake. It is racist comment. He's apologised. He himself, the person who made those comments, we don't know whether he is racist or not, despite having made racist comments, which he has now apologised for. As Campbell says here, is this a white middle-aged Tory man telling us what is and what is not racism? Well, yeah, I mean, he said it's racism. He's just not sure about whether or not to follow through on whether the guy who uttered the racist comments is racist. Walk me through that one. Nigel's in Birmingham. Morning, Nigel.
Yeah, more Tom. They're asking some good questions, so I'm up to the challenge.
Try my best.
My central point is, if somebody's racist, they can make a racist comment, but it doesn't follow the other way around. Somebody making a racist comment isn't necessarily a racist. And my concern is when you say somebody's racist, you're talking about their nature.
Mm-hmm.
If they make a racist comment, then if you say the comment is racist, you're focusing on the comment that they've said. And what keeps happening is we're deflecting from the comment, and is the comment racist, to conflating the two. And then people don't want to be accused of racism.
I take your point. How often, Nigel, do you say that because you see one particular black woman on the TV, that you want to hate all black women as a result? Do you say those things often?
Well, I'll reverse it because I'm actually black. So let's say you say about white women. No, I've never ever thought that.
Right.
And I would never say that.
What do you think of people who do think that and do say it?
Good question. I think I would listen carefully to what they say and
I'll tell you what I say. I saw Diane Abbott on the television, and it's enough to make you want to hate all black women. She should be shot.
That comment was said behind closed doors in private. I would suggest that's what's in the person coming out.
But again, he said it out loud to people, whether it was one person or 20. And whether the door was open or closed, it was a thought that entered his brain and exited his mouth. Is that something you would say about white people?
I personally wouldn't say it. But
why
again,
not? Why wouldn't you, Nigel? Why we're so close? We're circling the point. Why wouldn't you say it?
Well, I wouldn't say it because it's wrong.
Yes.
And I wouldn't say it because I would say it's a racist comment.
Yes.
But you see, what I don't understand is why we need to keep deflecting on whether the comment is racist and say the person is racist, because what happens then is you take away from the nature of the comment. And that's the way I see it, because what keeps on happening, not just in this area, you see it in lots of areas. When something happens, instead of focusing on the individual action, it's like we try and label the person, and then the argument becomes about the person, not what they've done.
I know, but they've done it. It stems from the person, doesn't it? The comment just didn't sort of plop out of the ether. It came from the mind of a man who was standing in a room full of people who made those comments, and I think it's pretty tricky not to judge someone for making the kind of comments, Nigel, that you say you wouldn't make, because they are, as you rightly point out, racist. What does that make the person who uttered them? Ignorant? Dumb? What are we saying about them? Can you say something that is clearly and objectively racist, but not be racist yourself?
So, what did we actually watch tonight? Because on the surface, this looked like a story about one man's comments. But dig a little deeper, and it's really a story about how power talks about race when it gets caught with its hand in the jar. Watch the minister's answers again. He'll call the words racist no hesitation there. But ask him about the man who said them, and everything changes. Suddenly it's about apologies. It's about context. As if saying sorry can somehow rewrite what already came out of his mouth. And look, that's a convenient position to hold. It lets ministers condemn the words, while staying very quiet on the man. Quieter still on the money his donations bring in. It also explains, doesn't it, why Downing Street took so long to even say the word racist out loud. That kind of hesitation isn't usually confusion. It's usually a calculation weighing up what it'll cost them to just say it. Now the caller, Nigel, he made a fair point. Judging someone's whole character off one comment isn't simple. Fair enough. But even he couldn't answer the obvious follow-up. Why would he never say those same words about a different race? That question matters, because that's the line between a genuine slip and a comment that reveals something that was already there. At the end of the day, this was never really about whether one businessman is racist. It was about whether the people in power will call racism what it is straight away, no hedging, and no waiting to see what it might cost them.